is Ellen, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas on the guitar, so stay tuned if this is something that you'd like to learn. And before we begin, I wanted to thank my patrons over on my Patreon page for voting for this song as this month's patron pick. If you'd like some voting power for the tutorials you see here on my channel, make sure to check out my Patreon page linked in the description box below. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and classify this as a beginner/intermediate song just because there can be a few tricky aspects to it. But first of all, let's talk about our guitar. You will need your guitar in standard tuning, and go ahead and put your capo on the 4th fret, and that will put us in the original key as the original song. On top of that, I wanted to show you 8 different chords that you will need to know to play through the song, and one of them is a bar chord, which is our F chord, so just be aware that that is pretty prevalent throughout this song. After that, I wanted to show you 3 different strumming patterns that you can kind of mix and match to play through the song, as well as one little solo like at the beginning that you heard me play just a second ago, so I will be teaching that to you as well. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and jump into how to play those chords. On such a Wednesday. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and zoomed in a little bit to take a closer look at these chords. Like I said, there are 8 chord shapes you're going to need to know to play through this song, and we're going to start with our A minor, which looks like this and sounds like this. By the way, if you don't know how to read chord shapes, I do have a video in my beginner series that talks all about how to read through chord shapes, so check that out if you need to. Our next chord is our G chord, which looks like this and sounds like this. After that, we have our bar chord, which is our F chord, which looks like this and sounds like this. Next is our E suspended 4 chord, which looks like this and sounds like this. After that, we have our E major chord, which looks like this and sounds like this. Next is our C chord shape, which looks like this and sounds like this. After that is our E7 chord shape, which looks like this and sounds like this. And then the last chord you need to know is our E7 suspended 4, which looks like this and sounds like this. And those are the 8 chords you need to know to play this song. Alright guys, something I wanted to quickly point out is that you might have noticed 4 of our 8 chord shapes for this song are variations of E chords. We have our E suspended 4, our E major, our E7, and our E7 suspended 4. Alright? So to the untrained ear, those might sound really super similar, but for this song in particular, it does make a big difference when you put everything together. So I would go ahead and suggest to memorize all of those chord shapes because it just really brings the song together in the end. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some strumming patterns that I want to show you for this song. Alright, so if you are a beginner or brand new to guitar, I would suggest starting your strumming out with just a practice pattern, which is just one simple down strum on the beat for every chord change. I always suggest new people to start like this because not only does it give you a chance to memorize those chord shapes and practice your chord transitions, but it also is a great way to get used to the song and have the foundations for later singing and playing at the same time. So let's just go ahead and go through the first line of the verse. We're going to start on our A minor chord because that's the first chord in the song. You're just going to strum down once, then you go to your next chord G, then we have F, all down strums just like that, and you want to take that through and sing through the entire song just so you know what words you're going to be like changing chords on and things like that. After you do that though, I do want to go into our first strumming pattern, which as you can see is down, down, up, and it's going to sound a little something like this. Alright guys, so this pattern is going to be kind of our main strumming pattern to play through most of the song. Before we go any further though, I did want to just point out, I'm going to put a little vertical line halfway in between here. So as you can see, we have down, down, up on the left side, down, down, up on the right side. And what that vertical line is going to represent is where we're going to change chords, okay? So the down, down, up is one full measure, but we're going to be playing two different chords within that measure. So a good example of this would be the very beginning of the song. Let's put our A minor chord back on again. What I want you to do is play A minor for the first down, down, up. Then you're going to switch to your next chord, which is G, and finish out the measure with the other down, down, up. Alright? So it's going to go a little bit faster when you're playing through the song. It's going to be like A minor, G. Alright, non-stop, just like that. And like I said, this strumming pattern goes through most of the song because the chord changes are a little bit fast. So let's go ahead and put a few chords here on screen. As you can see, we're going to go from A minor to G to F to G. And in each of these little pairings, we're going to just be doing, you know, half the pattern that I have here. So on A minor, we have down, down, up. Then you switch to G, down, down, up. Switch to F. Down, down, up, back to G, down, down, up. All right? So let's go ahead and just go through the first line of the verse as an example. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is... And I'm just gonna pause right here, even though I know you're probably singing gray right now. But I wanted to pause because even though strumming pattern 1 is super prevalent in this song, we're really gonna be switching back and forth between strumming pattern 1 and strumming pattern 2 a lot. So let's go ahead and go through strumming pattern 2. All right guys, so for strumming pattern 2, as you can see, we have down, down, up, down, up, and it's gonna sound a little something like this. So like I said a second ago, we are going to be switching back and forth between strumming pattern 1 and strumming pattern 2 throughout this song. So let's go ahead and practice this with our E suspended 4 chord on, because that's the first chord that you'll see this, you know, strumming pattern paired with. But basically it's just gonna go down, down, up, down, up. And that's the whole pattern. Down, down, up, down, up. All right, so once you get that motion down, we just want to put it in context with the rest of the song. So let's go ahead and do this on screen. I'm gonna have my E suspended 4 chord on going into our E major chord. And what I want you to do is play this pattern all the way through one time for each of these chords, okay? So on E suspended 4, we've got down, down, up, down, up, to E, down, down, up, down, up. All right, one more time. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Nice. And so when you put that together with strumming pattern 1, you'll kind of hear the song start to come together. So let me put all of that on screen for you. And we're going to start just from the very beginning of verse 1. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. Up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Nice. So if you can go back and forth between pattern 1 and pattern 2 pretty easily, you're basically most of the way there for this song. Like I said, it is just going to be a lot of back and forth between those. For example, you can see the next line is the same way. I've been for a walk on a winter's day. Down, up, down, down, up, down, up. One of the awesome things about this song is that it is kind of repetitive in the guitar part. So if you can do what we just did, then you're really well on your way to being able to play through the whole song. However, I did want to show you one more strumming pattern that's kind of used a little bit more infrequently in the song, but it does kind of add a lot to it. So let's go ahead and talk about strumming pattern 3. All right guys, so as you can see, strumming pattern 3 is just 8 down strums, and it's gonna sound something like this. Now, like I said, this strumming pattern is not going to be used as frequently as the other two, but it does add a lot, especially during that kind of bridge flute kind of section. So let's go ahead and just talk about this. It's going to be a very straightforward rhythm. Let's go ahead and put our A minor chord on. And all I want you to do is strum 8 down strums in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? So basically, if you can get that a little bit more, upbeat, a little bit more at tempo, you'll kind of hear where it fits into the song at that bridge portion with the flute. See, all I did there was go through this pattern 2 times through on the A minor chord. Now, sometimes, depending on how quick those chord transitions are going, you will be splitting this pattern in half as well to do faster chord transitions. So let me just go ahead and take you through that bridge flute section. We have our A minor chord on, and you're going to play through this pattern 2 times on A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you go to your next chord, which is G, and you're going to play this through twice again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then here we have a few different amounts of time that we have to keep this strumming pattern going. So our next chord is E7, and you're just going to play through this pattern once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then on the next measure, we're going to split this pattern in half between A minor and F. So therefore, A minor gets 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then F gets the other 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? Then you would end on your E7 suspended 4, and that would get the full pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E7 once. A minor to F to E7 suspended 4 twice. Okay? So just keep in mind that this strumming pattern is really only used during the bridge, and then also on the end of each verse when they're like singing all together on a winter's day and they hold out the word day, day, and then you hold that out for 2 measures, okay? So beyond just like the very last of the verse and then as well as during that bridge portion, there's no other place that I would really use this strumming pattern, so I did just want to kind of show it to you. If you want a complete breakdown of where I do all of these different strumming patterns in my playthrough, I do have that available on my Patreon page, so check that out if you want to. But the other thing I wanted to show you really quick with this strumming pattern in particular is with our A minor chord, there's something really cool you can do here, is while you're strumming these 8 down strums, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you can kind of dress it up by, pulling off and hammering on different fingers. So let me zoom in a little bit so I can show you that. All right, guys, so when we're doing that bridge portion with the flute solo, something you do with your A minor chord is we're gonna strum it down, all down strums like we just practiced. But something you can do is lift your first finger or put on your pinky finger, and that makes different chords, right? So you would do an A minor chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lift, put it back on, put your pinky on, take your pinky off, take your first finger off, put it back on. All right? So a little bit faster, it'd be like this. And if you add that into your cover, it kind of mimics, the melody of the flute, and I think it sounds really cool. However, if you are having trouble with that, feel free to leave that out. It sounds great just with the A minor chord. All right, but now that we've gone through the different strumming patterns and where to use them and how to use them throughout the song, there is one last thing I really wanted to teach you guys before we end the tutorial, which is that really recognizable kind of solo at the beginning. It's beautiful and not that hard to play, so let's zoom in so I can show you how to play it. So we've zoomed in a little. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at how to play that solo line at the beginning of the song. Basically, you're going to want to just start with your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string and your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G string right next door. Okay, and that's how we're going to start this. You're going to pick with your right hand the D string, the G string, and then the B string. Okay, so we've got next you want to go back to your D string and hit that one more time. All right, so we've got 2, 2, 0, 2. From here, I want you to take your pinky and put that on the 3rd fret of the B string. All right. Then you're going to take your 1st finger and put that on the 1st fret of the B string and lift off your pinky. And then you're going to lift off your 1st finger to play an open. So you can kind of hear that little walk down there. 3, 1, 0. Pinky, 1st finger, open. All right. So far we've got 2, 2, 0, 2, 3, 1, 0. Or if you want to think about that as fingers, we've got middle, ring, open, middle, pinky, 1st finger, open. All right. So that's the first part of the solo. Then from there, we're going to go to our G string, and your middle finger or your ring finger should still be on. So we're just going to pick that. Then I want you to take your 1st finger and place that on the 1st fret of the B string. Okay, so we've got 2, 1. Then go next door to your high E and play that open. Okay, so we've got 2, 1, open. Then take your 1st finger off of the B string and put it on your high E string. Okay, so you're going to have to kind of jump around with your 1st finger there. Okay. Once you get there, just lift your 1st finger off to do the open E again. Then you're going to take your pinky and put that back on the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay. So that second portion so far is. And then from here, you're going to lift off your pinky, and your 1st finger should still be on the 1st fret of the B string. Okay, so the second section so far is. So there's a lot of finger motion going on. So if you're not, used to picking, definitely take your time with this. But it is one of those lines where once you get it, it's really fun to play. So let's go ahead and start back from the beginning again and just kind of go through what we've gone through so far. So that's kind of the first part and the second part. Let's go ahead and finish this out with the last little 3rd part here. It's going to be kind of like the first part where you're going to be playing your middle and then your ring finger. So notice so far these 2 fingers haven't moved in this solo line at all. So they should be down the whole time. Going to be a lot of moving around with your pinky and your 1st finger, but your other 2 are kind of anchored. All right, guys, and you're almost done. We just have a little section here left. So for this last 3rd little section, you want to go back to your D string, then your G, then you want to put your pinky back on the 3rd fret of the B string, then take it off and replace that with your 1st finger on the 1st fret, and then open. So there's another little walk down there. 3, 1, 0. Pinky, 1st finger, open. Okay? So this 3rd section so far is. All right. Then you just want to hop over one more string again to your G string. And then take off your ring finger. So you're going 2, open. And then you're going to end this whole little section with this chord. And the way I find it easiest to play is, since our fingers are already here, I just go up 1 with my middle finger and then place my pinky down on that B string. All right, so you're going from here to this. All right, so you can see in this solo section, there's going to be a lot of places where you're kind of hammering some fingers on, taking some fingers off, doing a lot of walk downs and stuff like that. So Just be wary that this is going to probably take a little bit of time to get used to, especially if you're new to picking. But let's go ahead and go through the whole thing now. We've got and that is the entire solo that you hear at the very beginning of the song. This is obviously optional. If you didn't want to play this through, you wouldn't have to. You would just start immediately with the strumming. All the leaves are brown, you know. But this is kind of really one of the most recognizable parts of the song, I feel. So definitely give this solo a try if you would like to. So at tempo, it sounds like this. And that is how you play the solo portion. All the leaves are brown, leaves are brown. Want to have fun jamming to the rest of this song with me? Then make sure to check out my Patreon page where you'll unlock access to this as well as all my other fast track and play along tutorials. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description box as well as link it in the iCard up here. Alright guys, but that does conclude my tutorial today. I really hope that it helped you. If it did, make sure to give me a thumbs up down below as well as subscribe to my channel. That way you never miss out on any other new tutorials. Here are my social media sites in case you'd like to follow me on any of those. That's just where I do fun things like behind the scenes looks at things coming up. I'll poll you guys on what you want to learn next, and I'll even do giveaways on there a few times a year, so make sure to check that out. A huge shout out and thank you to my top patrons over on my Patreon page for making tutorials just like this one possible. And if you also want to be a supporter of the channel, remember you can always check out my Patreon page where you'll unlock access to the printable guides that I have for all of the songs with lyrics and chords and everything, or customizable backing tracks so you can turn things on and off to tailor your practice session, or you can even send videos to me and ask me for your questions or whatever, and I will send you a video response with my advice on how to improve back. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope it helped, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!